This video has been produced by Beam, Be Ambitious for Bookham, and explains why we think Bookham should have a village council. Thank you for watching.
Through localism, government has been encouraging local people to assume more responsibility for decisions taken in their own towns and villages. Beam, Be Ambitious for Bookham, is a group of residents who think this is a great idea and have decided to promote the formation of a local village council for Bookham. So why do we think it is a good idea? Well, you live in Bookham. You already know it is a desirable place to live. We have good schools, convenient shops, proximity to London, and countryside on our doorstep. At the moment, we also have pretty good local services, though there are some infrastructure issues which never seem to get fixed. However, central government has already reduced its grants to our county and district councils by 1/3, and more cuts are on the way. You only need to listen to the news and read the papers to realise this. Current services are under threat. Support for youth services has already been much curtailed. Even in Mole Valley, Ashstead Shore Start Children's Centre is already threatened with closure, and some libraries have closed in other parts of the country. What else could be included in the next round of cutbacks? Our Youth and Community Centre has been trying to persuade Surrey County Council for several years to provide funds for a rebuild. I wonder if this will ever happen. Surrey and Mole Valley District Councils have publicly warned that in future the growing need for services will be hard to finance, and even Surrey Police are concerned. Cuts could lead to us living in an increasingly unsafe place. None of us like what is happening, but we can do something about some of these things. Beam for Bookham believes that it's time to take things into our own hands to help ensure that our local services stay the way we like them. But further than this, if we are ambitious for Bookham, we will be able to do even more and add new facilities and new services on top of those we currently enjoy. Let's aim to make Bookham an even better place than it is today.
How could a village council benefit Bookham? If Bookham could take control over its own future, we could safeguard and develop the services that we enjoy and rely on. To do that, Bookham needs money of its own. An elected village council could deliver that. Beam for Bookham believes we should be ambitious for Bookham. We need an elected village council with legal duties and powers. A village council that protects the interests of everyone who lives here, stands up for Bookham, and speaks forcefully when issues and problems arise. A village council that has a duty to find out what the community's priorities are and to put in place a plan to make them happen. What that plan should cover is up to you. There are so many options that are available to us. Supporting our many excellent voluntary organisations by providing grants to cover their running costs. Helping provide for paid-for publicity and PR support, or even running training courses. Organising local events to encourage more people to come to Bookham, to shop or to use our pubs and cafes. Providing a single point of contact for residents when they need to get something done. These are just a few of the ideas we have had. I'm sure that you would have many more. Village councils throughout the country are doing all of this right now. We could join them, and with our track record of community involvement, we could be one of the very best.
Hello, I'm Trevor Lego, Chief Executive of the Surrey and Sussex Association of Local Councils, part of the National Association of Local Councils. Our association works with and supports local councils up and down the country. There are already 9,000 of them, and the number is growing. We provide training, legal, financial and procedural advice to individual councils and councillors. We organise events which bring councils together to cross-fertilise ideas and update on current matters of interest to councils in Surrey and Sussex. At present, about 140 communities are going through the process of establishing a new village, community, neighbourhood or town council. And over the next 10 years, our association's objective is to assist every community in England to take this important step. There is a real appetite across the UK for communities to take more control of their future. This largely stems from communities wishing to be in control of local matters, providing choices for their residents. Bookham has already shown itself to be a community where, given the opportunity, residents want to be involved. Through the Bookham Vision project and more recently during the Bookham Vanguard programme to create a neighbourhood development plan, residents have stepped forward to be involved and express their views. I believe a village council in Bookham would fit well into that demonstrable community ethos. But more importantly, I believe a well-structured, modern village council would bring real benefits to your community. I'm delighted to support the Beam for Bookham team in this initiative. If successful, Bookham will join the growing ranks of new, modern local councils.
You might be wondering exactly what a village council is. Well, you may be more familiar with the term parish council. Local councils can be called parish, town, community, neighbourhood, village, and even city councils. But whatever they're called, they're the first tier of local government in England and the tier closest to local people. They have three areas of responsibility. First, they represent the local community. They represent it, they speak up for it, and they're publicly accountable to it. Next, they provide local services to meet local needs. And finally, they do the very best they can to improve community well-being of the area and the quality of life of the people who live there. They raise money to spend locally on community services, and the great thing about this is that the money is invested directly back into the local community it's come from to improve facilities and services there and nowhere else. It's the only tax guaranteed to be spent by the people who pay it in the exact area where they live. There are already 9,000 local councils in England and 80,000 local councillors. There are 77 alone in Surrey and 13 of those in the Mole Valley area. The number of electors varies hugely, as does the amount of money they raise and spend each year. Many of them are different, but all of them are working for their local community. There's no set formula for a village council. It's up to us as the community to decide what we want to do, how much money should be raised each year, and what we should do with it. Beam for Bookham believes that a Bookham local council should be constructed to serve the community, to engage with the community, to find out what people want, and then to put in place a funded plan to deliver it.
What can a village council actually do? In a legal sense, a council can do anything an individual can do, anything that is legal, and anything that Bookham residents want. That's the key. It must satisfy and be accountable to the residents. Here are just a few examples of what other councils do that we could consider. Set up a company to provide local services, run a community shop, acquire land for recreation and leisure purposes or maybe a care home, give grants to local community organisations, lend or invest or borrow money to finance local services. Some councils do more than others. Some serve their communities better than others. There is absolutely no reason why Bookham Village Council couldn't be among the very best. For example, the Village Council could establish an emergency fund. Do you remember the flooding last year? Hire a contractor for snow and ice clearance in the shopping areas and our pavements. Fund solutions for some infrastructure problems, such as potholes and wet spots. Put up electric speeding signs. Protect the library if funding dries up. With the help of you, the Bookham community, we would like to come up with even more new ideas. What would you like to happen? The important point we would like to stress is that our village council could be as ambitious as our community agrees it should be. Our village council should be ambitious for Bookham.
It's fine to be ambitious, but what's it going to cost? How much extra will I have to pay to have an effective village council in Bookham? The answer lies with you, Bookham's residents. The very first job of a new village council would be to create a costed plan for the year ahead in consultation with everyone in the local community. Then, each year, at an annual village meeting, the council would propose the plan for the next year and for 2 years after that. These plans should reflect what Bookham residents believe the priorities for Bookham should be. Once the plan is agreed, the total cost of carrying out the plan would be worked out. The precept, the amount of money needed to cover the costs of the plan, would be calculated and added to the council tax for all Bookham residents. Surprisingly small contributions could generate significant amounts for Bookham's own projects. To raise £100,000 a year, a Band D household would pay just 36 pence a week. To raise as much as £250,000, the amount would be just 88 pence a week. Imagine what £250,000 could do for Bookham. Of course, some residents will find any increase in household bills, even a very small one, difficult. So it's good to know that any discounts and waivers currently applied by Mole Valley to council tax bills also apply for the village council precept. Bookham residents would also have the final say every year on what the council would do and how much they would be prepared to pay for it. The annual payment could not be increased without the agreement of the community. And remember, money raised by the village council is money guaranteed to be spent only in the local area where it's been raised.
So what do we need to do to create a village council for Bookham? There are 3 main steps. The first step is to submit a petition to Mole Valley District Council containing the signatures of at least 10% of Bookham voters. This will trigger a process called a community governance review. A community governance review sounds complex, but in simple terms, it's the power a local authority has to consult with a community about the way it's governed. The petition itself doesn't commit anyone to anything. It's just a way to kickstart a governance review by Mole Valley. The review would consist of a public consultation with all Bookham voters and other interested parties such as local businesses. The second step is for Mole Valley to look at the results of their consultation, to weigh up the views for and against, and to assess whether a village council is right for Bookham. Depending on the outcome of the review, the third and final step would be for Mole Valley to organise an election of village councillors, and once that was done, the work of the Bookham Village Council could begin. But don't forget, it will all only happen if Bookham residents really want it to, starting now with signing the petition. If you'd like to know more about any of the information you've heard in this video, or if you'd like to put your views forward to BEAM, please contact the BEAM team via our website, www.beamforbookham.uk, or email us at info@beamforbookham.uk. We would welcome the opportunity to come along and talk further to a group of residents or a local organisation. If you'd like to sign the petition to kickstart the review process by Mole Valley, you can do so straight after this video by visiting our website and filling in the online form, or completing a paper form supplied by a member of the team if they're on hand. Thank you very much for the time you spent watching this video. Be ambitious for Bookham. Sign the petition now.